Welcome to the debate. Today we're digging into evidence from source material on live audio platforms. Specifically, looking at this fundamental clash between how users expect privacy to work and, well, how digital data storage actually works.
Right. And that really brings us to a critical question. Does the inherent sort of verifiable permanence of digital data essentially negate a platform's responsibility to honor the privacy controls it explicitly tells its users they have? Like the supposed recording status of a live audio space.
And I'll be arguing that platform integrity here is frankly non-negotiable. Trust is the main currency for these platforms, and that demands honoring those user-facing privacy settings, period.
And I'm going to contend that the technical reality of digital sharing makes those recording controls largely symbolic, maybe even misleading. Focusing on guarantees that, as we see in the material, are known to fail just sets users up for disappointment.
Okay, so my position is really based squarely on user behavior and trust. I mean, a core platform responsibility has to maintain that trust. When a host actively tries to stop the recording or, even observes that messing with the control flips the space a little bit, the platform absolutely must ensure those actions are effective. The clear anxiety users express about that recording reminder popping up, it just shows they rely entirely on that stated status to gauge their comfort level.
I see it differently. I think that trust, while understandable, is fundamentally misplaced because the material we're looking at shows the guarantee is already, well, broken. For anyone really determined to capture the content, the official recording status is, frankly, irrelevant. We hear participants talking about accessing these huge archives, right? One person specifically claims access to 233,000 spaces right now. Another participant is even more blunt, just states, it's all recorded anyways. So, we can't let the user experience hinge on a visual indicator that's so easily compromised.
Okay, but if technical exploits do exist, and sure, they probably do, the proper response isn't to just throw up your hands and say privacy is impossible. It's for the platform to prioritize patching those vulnerabilities, to restore user confidence. The fact that simply manipulating the recording toggle actively makes the space unstable, as noted, that just shows really poor design choices. It prioritizes a broken visual feature over the actual stability and function for the user.
That's a powerful point on trust, definitely. But is it actually realistic in practice? When we look at the discussion of some pretty advanced exploits, like these memory capture techniques used to bypass official restrictions, it kind of illustrates that complex systems are constantly being targeted, right? Especially in user mode. Requiring the platform to fix every single deep-seated security flaw just to honor a temporary recording light, that often feels like an unwinnable battle. Maybe the focus should shift. Perhaps instead of fixing a faulty toggle, the real solution lies in accountability through, say, robust verification, like requiring 2 forms of government ID, as someone suggested. Punish the misuse rather than trying to prevent the unpreventable recording itself. But let's not forget user perception and the platform's explicit promise here. Users clearly base their actions on what the screen tells them. We heard that one participant explicitly say, right after the recording was thought to be off, now we can talk about anything. Violating this perceived status is genuinely dangerous. It encourages riskier, more candid behavior without actual consent, and that fundamentally breaks the platform's basic promise to its users. Right, but while you're focusing on the platform's intent, I think we need to consider the almost inevitable outcome. I'm just not convinced that the recording status significantly alters the overall candor in these spaces anyway. I mean, the very discussion we hear in the source material, it includes admissions about using a pirate movie app, people sharing really candid details of medical procedures, making inappropriate jokes. It strongly suggests that users generally assume some level of permanence, or at least risk. So focusing on the technical reality actually prepares users better, I think, than offering a potentially false sense of security based on a toggle we know can be bypassed.
So it really boils down to this core tension, doesn't it? The user's expectation of a temporary sort of ephemeral zone, which is promised by the platform interface.
versus the verifiable and, let's be honest, ultimately permanent nature of data shared online. The material seems to consistently show us that regardless of what the little light says, dedicated archival methods mean any unrecorded status is highly questionable at best.
Yeah. This whole discussion really underscores the difficulty digital platforms face in trying to align that perceived security with the actual technological capability. There's certainly much more to explore in how platforms navigate these very difficult promises.